we're live now.
Good day, mates.
We made it.
We made it. Everything is good here. I hope everything's good where you are. It is Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022, 11/2/2/2
Yes.
with a 0 in there.
Yeah.
Do you want a pot pie later?
Oh, later, yeah.
You do want one?
No. Actually, no. Okay. No.
Okay. Noah says no.
I can't. Never mind.
Can't. How was your Halloween?
I slept because I was extremely hungover. So it was
From
fun.
what?
The wonderful Bills game the day before.
Yeah.
That was fun.
We had a good time.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It was
fun.
a good game too.
Except for the parking lot.
Yeah. That just took a long time to get out of.
That was weird. I don't know.
Oh.
It seemed weird.
Because he wanted you to back in, and you had absolutely no.
He
way
did
of
want me to
doing
back
that
in
whatsoever.
Yeah,
last car in the lot, and he's like, "I want you to back in."
Right.
When there's...
He's like, "We have one space."
Right. When there's already cars, are like the most you can fit is a car going down or a car coming up, like no other option.
And both cars on each side. I mean, the car on each side were both tailgating.
Yeah.
Which made it even better for us to come into the lot because both sides were tailgating. But they were really nice. I told them they could scratch up the car, and they were like, "We're not going to."
At least we'll try not to.
But I didn't see any scratches, so
yeah.
No CJ tonight, even though I said CJ would be here. He's at the Sabres game watching them play the Penguins.
Yeah.
So good times there. So we're not going to hear from CJ, which is too bad. I wanted his feedback on a lot of things
because we were
tonight.
at the game. So
right.
Yeah,
so
I forgot. But that's
know we. Does anyone want to join us? If someone wants to join us, we're more than willing to have you hop on and hop in. You just gotta leave us a message and tweet us something. Anyway, so we're gonna get going. We've been going though.
Yeah, we are going.
We talked about Halloween.
Okay, well,
did you have any Halloween trick or treaters?
Oh, I have no idea. I turned the lights off and I slept
turned
in
the
the
lights
bed.
off?
So even if they came to the
Jackie
door,
wasn't home.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did the Bills game feel long to you?
Long? No, I thought it felt short.
Short.
Well, not like short necessarily. More in terms of. I didn't feel long. It felt like the right length. I don't know. I didn't feel like
maybe it's because we went in so early that it felt long to me.
Oh yeah, that doesn't bother me though because
it doesn't bother me either. We had great talk and everything. It was really cool, but it just felt long. No, we're not related Morses and Dryden.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, no, it didn't.
Are
feel
you
long,
related Morses and Dryden?
Didn't feel long.
If you are, let us know and we'll try and connect you. Where's Dryden?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh no.
That sucks. Anyway, moving on. No,
the Bills played Green Bay.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was. I didn't. Yeah. CJ was telling us that it felt like a little nerve-wracking, a little bit, but he didn't think that Green Bay ever had a chance. But we felt like from the beginning, I don't think we ever felt like Green Bay had a chance.
No, it didn't feel like it there.
Mm-mm.
It definitely didn't feel like it while we were there. But
which I think is the problem, quote unquote. Problem is not the
with
right
being
word,
there.
But yeah.
But the other side of it is, I was talking about this with Grandma, and she was saying, that part of the problem is Chris Collinsworth, because he's always trying to build up the drama. You know what I mean? And so he's always trying to make it seem like the game is tighter than it really is.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I mean, like even when he threw the interceptions, you were just kind of like, oh,
That really sucked.
why did he do that?
Right.
Like, but then the defense came back out and stopped them. So I mean, like I think maybe if the defense didn't always respond
Yeah.
when it felt like the offense wasn't clicking, then maybe the stadium would have turned a little bit. But
our section was quiet.
I told you, I don't know what's up with their section, but it's quiet.
It was really weird.
Yeah, it is. But
well, it's because you get different people every week, so you don't get a camaraderie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I haven't had the same people around me. I don't think any of the weeks. So
think you'll switch next year?
No, because I like those seats.
I like those seats too.
Might just get closer.
You have really good seats.
I have a feeling if I could just get closer, that's probably where the people stick.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you could get down into the like 15 or something, you're in row 25.
5. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can get into 15 or lower, I think that would work for you.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So anything you want to talk about specifically about the game? Because I had a fun time watching it.
Yeah, again, I mean, it wasn't even when Green Bay was like coming back, like it wasn't again, it was just another example of this team shooting themselves in the foot. And you know, when we were talking with CJ about it, he was bringing up the fact that it might not fly with in the playoffs or later in the year when we're making those mistakes if the game's tighter than it was. I mean, they always seem to get away with this stuff either because the defense turns around and responds or the game just isn't tight enough where it matters, which is kind of what happened with the interceptions with Josh.
But isn't that just your team's better?
Yeah.
Too? Like you can overcome turnovers and stuff. Whereas a lot of teams can't.
Yeah, and that was just another. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was gonna say was like, you know, this is just another example where it's like if they just like cleaned up their act like a little bit, they would probably just be the most dominant team. But it's like they want to. I don't know. It's dumb.
I think what they were trying to do, and it may have been a little frustrating because we just didn't see the overall like dominance that we're used to seeing from the offense, right? But I really think they were trying to find what they had in the run game and if they had enough.
Yeah.
You know, like if they had enough to really go after it, because there were so many rumors about the Bills trying to make a splash and make a trade and all of that kind of stuff. And so many different names were at the airport again, right?
Or Duffs or whatever.
Or Duffs or wherever. Yeah. But in the end, you know, like you said, I mean, they got up 24-10, I think it was at the end of the first half. So they only scored 3 in the second
24-7.
24-7.
Yeah.
They only scored 3 in the second half. That's right. They got outscored by 10 or whatever. They got outscored by 7 in the second half, but it really didn't matter. Like, I mean, they were just trying. I feel like they were just trying different things and just seeing what they could do. So on both offense and defense. And who did you think on defense played well?
Tremaine, again. I mean, he had 16 tackles, which I think is just insane.
That's yeah.
I thought DeMar Hamlin played really well. I will add a caveat to that though. It does feel like, I mean,
yeah, we talked about this at the
game, right? Well, we'll also, I mean, we'll delve into this later, obviously with the Marlowe trade. But to me, like Hamlin's only good in run situations.
Yeah.
So like this kind of felt like his game to like, you know, show up and, you know, play really well, and he did, and he showed up. So
well, he definitely seems to be good in the box, right?
Yeah.
Which is how Poyer started his career, was by being a box safety, right?
Yeah.
Like Jamal Adams type or what
Right.
that kind of thing. But Adams never progressed out of that, and Poyer progressed into one of the best safeties in the league.
Can only hope.
Have you heard anything about his injury?
He's day to day.
Day to day.
Whatever.
Yeah, so they'll just brace him up and play him next week against those mighty Jets.
Yeah, and then if he gets hurt, they'll just give him a shot and send him on his
throw
way.
in Dean Marlowe.
Or do that. Yeah.
Throw him into the fire, right?
I mean, that's the plan. I did see an interesting stat though, with Quinn and Marlowe being traded. They'll be the first two players to play like the full 18.
I saw that
because they won't.
They've had a bye week.
Yeah,
bye weeks passed. Bye week hasn't passed for their old team.
Yeah,
but passed already for the Bills, so they won't get a bye week all season.
And then the same thing happened with Quinn and
Quinn and the Eagles,
the Bears and the Eagles. Yeah,
right. Okay.
The Eagles had their bye already,
right?
And the Bears
didn't. So yeah,
interesting stuff.
It is
kind of cool.
It is. But hopefully Marlowe play well. They'll both probably play more than 18. So when we meet them in the Super Bowl,
right?
They'll both have played the most amount of games probably that any player has ever played in a season.
Yeah, I mean that will be
right.
Well, yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Facebook user being related to Morses and Dryden. Yeah, I'm really interested where Dryden is. So if you want to pipe back in and you're still here, can you tell us where Dryden is if you're still around?
Was there anything else that showed out to you?
I just liked that they beat Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers, even when he's
win in a row.
He's not.
James Cook looked good.
Cook looked good. He's probably not going to see the field for the rest of the year unless Hines gets hurt.
I don't know if that's true because I feel like you could just use all three, kind of in like just certain situations, or at least like because if we want, well, why don't we move on and we can talk about what happened.
Well, I did have one other thing was the Diggs Jair Alexander.
Yeah.
Right. So that was an interesting thing that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
They were jawing at each other. I guess Alexander walked out of the game at the end and said Diggs had no receptions against him, so he won their matchup. And
Alexander wasn't really on him most of the time, but like
right,
whatever. Like okay.
Right. Alexander doesn't cover the number one receiver when he's put in there. He's their best corner though.
Yeah, he is.
But they don't put him on the top guy. They put him on the second guy to just take that guy out of the game, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they double cover the first. I don't know. I haven't watched enough of Green Bay to say
but I mean they mostly have
stance.
They mostly have him cover the number 2 guy.
Yeah. So so
the trade deadline was yesterday. Bills made 2 moves.
See how I'm echoing you?
Yes.
It's helpful, isn't it? Bills made 2 moves. They traded for Nyheim Hines. They gave up who is a running back from Indianapolis. Most people probably know him. Very good punt returner.
Mm-hmm. Well, he does both.
Very good returner.
They said he does both.
Very good returner. He is a very good receiving back, which the Bills have desperately needed since they tried to sign McKissick in the offseason. And mostly durable, would you say?
No, I mean, I was watching, I saw a video from Pat McAfee and he was talking about him. And actually, he is pretty durable. He just, hasn't gotten the opportunities. Jonathan Taylor obviously is there now and
Right.
showed and has been one of the most dominant back in the league. So there happened to be that.
And last year they had Marlon Mack in front of them,
and they had a loaded backfield last year and 2 years ago, and before Taylor even got there, they had like a multi-level backfield.
Yeah.
So, but then they re-signed him, and then when they re-signed him, Jonathan Taylor exploded. So, he lost his opportunity there to really show that he can be a future back. So, I mean, everybody's saying, everybody that sees him, that knows him, says he's great in the community as well. And that,
I think that part's cool. Yeah. And that's going to fit in, and, and we talked about that last week about getting the players who fit, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
because
everybody's
we were talking about the running back from Cleveland.
Hunt. Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about them getting Hunt and how I was sort of like on the edge about it, even though he's a great guy, about him fitting in to the culture and that kind of thing, and about them taking that risk. And I think with what we know about Hines,
yeah, I mean, he should fit in great. He should fit in great here.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was saying Bills Mafia should love him. I mean, giving up Zach Moss and finally getting him out of here, and then a conditional 6 that only can go to like a 5th is more than fine for getting, to being able to get Hines for what he can do and what he can bring to the offense. I mean, it's just another guy. I mean, that's all. I mean, they've been looking for this. I mean,
I think Hines is more than just another guy, right? Moss was just another guy.
No, I'm not saying he's just another guy. He's another weapon for this offense. I mean, this is what they've been looking for out of the running back position. This is what they want James Cook to be. It's just that he's a rookie. But if you're able to go out and give up Zach Moss, who doesn't fit what you're trying to do really, and then just a conditional 6th is just a fantastic trade.
Yeah, I mean, agree.
This is about is winning the Super Bowl as quickly as humanly possible, while also giving Josh as many weapons to score. Because the thing that I wanted to bring up with Hines was, you don't think James Cook will see the field, but Hines can play the slot.
Yeah, so that's a big deal.
That's huge, especially being a running back and being able to play the slot. He plays the slot extremely well.
Right.
So if you can line up him there and have like McKenzie and Shakir and him all rotate there, and then you have Hines, Cooks, and Singletary in the backfield. I mean, I think it's obviously Singletary is RB1, and then I think
they're willing, and they were Green Bay made them convinced.
Yeah,
that he's RB1.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has 67 yards, and he went for 14 carries again. Right. And had 67 yards on those 14 carries. So,
right.
We were saying going into this year, all three of us, we need a running back who can, at bare minimum, be that workhorse, get you 15, 20, 25 carries a game and get you solid yards with that amount of carries. And he has done that since the middle half of last year. So I think they're willing to commit to Singletary. And I think that if they weren't, they would have gotten Chris McCaffrey, or they would have tried harder for Kamara, or even Barkley, at the beginning of the season. I mean, I think they probably would have made that
or
move
Hunt,
earlier,
that kind of thing, or whoever else was Montgomery, whoever else was on the block at the time. But do you think this means they sign Singletary in the offseason?
I do. I mean, the only really running back you have right now is you have Hines, obviously, but then you have James Cook. So I mean,
Hines' salary jumps to $4 million next year.
Yeah,
and so,
but I think
they have an out clause.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the Bills though can dump it if they want
and have no dead cap space. Yeah, that's so. Hopefully, they are able to renegotiate with him and keep him around if he's successful.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if he's a starter in the way that you want it to be. I mean, I don't even know if you want him to be the starter, like not in terms of like that he can't do it, but in terms of his athletic ability and the other things that he can provide to your offense, I don't know if you want to. I think you still want another running back like a Singletary to be able to be that starter and to be the traditional running back.
Well, they kept their second round pick.
Yeah.
That's where they draft running backs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be tons of running backs, and if you're just looking for a power guy, then I think they'll have plenty of guys to pick from if they go the free agent route. I mean, how many running backs does Miami have? Like 32?
Yeah, I mean, running backs are a dime a dozen.
San Francisco has, 84, and
yeah, but I mean
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I understand that running backs are a dime a dozen, but at the same time, I mean, the Bills have shown consistently that,
yeah, they have their babies and then they keep them around, right?
They want to keep this team together, and they like re-signing the guys that they have.
Yeah.
And even if they can go out and get a better option too,
yeah. I mean,
they could have with Dane Jackson 2 years ago,
right? But they did that with Wallace. They let him go,
right? But yeah, well, they replaced him with Dane Jackson though, somebody who was on the roster. But I also think Wallace being let go had a
13 seconds.
Yeah,
yeah,
but had a little bit to do with that.
Yeah. So so we like the Hines trade. What did you think of the Marlowe trade?
I mean, for a 7th round pick, yeah, get that safety depth. I mean, you're bringing back a guy who knows the system, has been here before, and has gone and gotten an experience on another team, in a different scheme, learning different things, learning different ways to do stuff, which is valuable, even if it is on the Falcons. But and just having that and looking at other teams, that's the other thing, being able to see other offenses outside of what you've already seen.
Yeah. I like that he used to be here. I think that's something I didn't think about before the trade deadline, was like, we talked again about one of the spots that they needed help again, that I felt at least, was in the backfield, was in the defensive backfield, because it's safety, because if Poyer goes down, you're stuck with Jaquan and Hamlin. And then if either of them went down, then what? Right.
And you're putting like Cam Lewis there,
or somebody you don't want there. And so like I like it, again, in the sense, I like that he gets to keep his old number. So everyone who had the Dean Marlowe jerseys, still 31 is gonna get it. Nyheim Hines is gonna wear number 20, so he's taking over from Moss right away.
Flip it right there. Yeah.
He was 21 in Green Bay, but that's taken by a fairly significant player in Buffalo with Jordan Poyer, and I don't think he was going to give that up for Nyheim Hines.
Definitely
not. So, but Marlowe can step right in, I think, and be that guy, right? He may even, I think, surpass Hamlin.
I think that is the idea. I think Jaquan's still at the top for them, or I think it might be just Jaquan and Marlowe are 1A and 1B for them. I mean, Marlowe can start. I mean, Marlowe is a rotational guy. Marlowe should be able to slide right in right away, honestly. So, I mean, I think they should feel comfortable just getting him right into the rotation.
Right.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of those 3 safety sets. And it seems
that they were doing.
Right. That they were doing at the beginning of the year.
Right.
And then, Hamlin got burned a few times on play action passes and they stopped that. But now getting Marlowe gives you that ability to do that. It also lets you, though. I mean, obviously Hamlin has shown that he's kind of a one-trick pony right now. He's not the best on pass defense. He can read it well, but he just doesn't. Like he knows it's a
just not.
pass, but
He's
he
just
can't
not
get
there.
there. Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
this gives you this ability now to,
I mean, guys run by him.
if you think it's a run play, you can put him out there because he can diagnose that like crazy. And then when it's not, you're putting in Dean Marlowe. So I think this gives you just, again, this adds to your depth on defense, which is already great.
Right.
And then this gives you just another rotational depth piece that on a bad team would be a starter. I mean, or at least a solid rotational guy.
Right.
Right. And because
he does seem to me like a poor man's Micah.
Yeah.
He's got that agility. He's got some of those things where, he doesn't have a ton of interceptions in his career. I think 1.5 or something like that. No, you can't have half an interception. Yeah. So
two guys at the same time,
they grab
interception.
Yeah, you ripped it away from the other guy. But I don't think he has a ton of interceptions in his career or anything like that. But again, good fit. We're happy with it.
Yeah.
So Marlowe, Hines, great moves. Would have liked to have seen a swing tackle come in. But you make as many moves as you can and the right moves. And
I mean, the good thing about this, I don't feel like you needed to. I mean, I still think you could have made the home run move, but that would have been like your only home run move. And the guy you're bringing in is like Kamara or Christian McCaffrey before he was traded.
Right.
You're making that kind of move. I don't think you're going out and getting like Bradley Chubb like Miami did. But
which we'll talk about.
Yeah, but I think you're making more of a home run than that move. But I think getting Hines and Marlowe for the price that you did also gives you like shows that Bean wanted to go with, I guess, cheapness. Is that the right word?
That's fair.
He wanted to go with like quality deals versus like just having one home run where he has to give up like 3 firsts.
A ton of because you don't know what's going to happen in the off season, right? You still have, and we've talked about this already, but you're going to hear it again. So I mean, Singletary, Poyer, Edmonds, Gabe Davis is a year away. I feel like there's a corner or something. Oh, Ed Oliver.
I think Tehran's up.
No, they have him locked up for a while.
Yeah, right,
Ed Oliver was the other one I was thinking of. And so, I mean, you have to figure out, you have to prioritize those guys, and then you have to figure it out. When you and I were talking earlier, we talked about prioritizing Edmonds. He's having such a good season and really showing that he's grown, has continued to look better in pass coverage. Almost every single game, he continues to look better. If someone else has thoughts on prioritizing Edmonds versus someone else, I'm willing to listen. But
I mean, you already locked up Tehran, you already locked up Knox. So in my mind, those were the two top guys. Poyer, he's a vet, so you're gonna have to wait on that.
He's gonna test the market.
Probably. I would assume.
At this point, if you haven't signed him,
but I mean, I think
you're either gonna franchise him or let him test the market.
Yeah.
If you franchise him, you're blowing up your cap. Right. So, I don't think you do it. I think that's why they have all these safeties in there, and why they've been drafting safeties for 4 years in a row now.
Yeah, trying to hit with somebody.
Yeah, and they'll get Micah back next year, who's a year older than Poyer, but still a leader out there. And you'll see Hamlin or Jaquan or maybe even Marlowe in there, or a rookie. I mean, Hamilton, they should have taken.
Right.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Right.
But I would have loved him. But it was so anyway, what did you think of the trade deadline overall?
I mean, most deals ever
Right.
It was a great one. A lot of big names were moved. TJ Hawkinson to the Lions, to the Vikings, I think was the most surprising of the day for me.
Of the day.
Yeah.
Roquan Smith, I think overall
was the biggest move.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I mean that's a huge grab for the Ravens. And even if they're not able to keep him around,
it shows that they're moving this year.
Yeah, I think that's okay for them. Because they
McCaffrey
also
was a huge move too, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that happened before. So I'm just kidding. Yeah, obviously.
But I still consider that part of
of
trade day,
yes,
right? I mean, the couple days before, leading up to it, and that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, getting Chase Claypool for Justin Fields that might be an underrated move,
especially the fact that Claypool's under contract for a couple years.
Right.
If they can fix that offensive line there and make it so Fields isn't knocked down every 30 seconds.
Right.
Or every single time he steps back to pass,
maybe Fields
that would be a connection.
Is the next Josh Allen?
Well, and then you also have Mooney on the other side, who's quick and fast. Then you have Claypool, who's big and not as tall, right? Tall, big, and quick.
Yeah.
So it's a good combination to have. It's a good starter combination because it kind of reminds me of like what the Bills did with Josh, with Beasley, and tall,
right.
But Beasley was big. Beasley was open.
It's a starter. It's a starting thing, right? And
it's like a starter pack and like an ultimate team kind of thing.
But you got to start somewhere,
exactly.
So obviously McCaffrey was a huge win. Robert Quinn was a huge win.
Yeah.
Roquan Smith was a huge win. Were there any of the smaller ones?
I mean, I do think Bradley Chubb to Miami. I do think that helps them. I think it does. I think it makes it just them a little bit more nerve-wracking. Just makes it a little bit more nervous because it has Melvin Ingram on one side, who always plays well against us for some reason, and just us. And then you'll have Bradley Chubb on the other.
Always played well, no matter what team he's been on, though.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I feel like he always plays like super well against us, and then like for the rest of the year, he just like kind of shows up.
Yeah.
And then, but against us, he's like always on. I don't know.
I mean, Chiefs 2 years ago, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Last year and to start the season.
Dolphins this year. It's just
right. It's
annoying.
It is annoying.
But then, I don't think that it. I mean, they have Tua. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then, the Vikings being able to replace Irv Smith with TJ Hawkinson is a huge move, especially with how they're playing and with Kirk Cousins.
Well,
adding TJ Hawkinson to that offense, and you already have Thielen and you already have Justin Jefferson, and now you have a Pro Bowl tight end.
And they won the game last week by throwing to KJ Osborne.
Right. So
and I think the reason they went and got Hawkinson was because of the Irv Smith injury.
He's going to be out for like 8 to 10 weeks. Right. So that's basically almost the rest of the year.
Which I don't know why, if you're Detroit, you trade him in the division.
I don't know either, because that just makes it seem like you're just like,
we've given up on him.
Well, we've given up on this year. Like, we're obviously not going to do anything this year, which is true, because they're like, what, 1-5 or something, or 1-6?
I don't know.
They're not good. I know that. But I mean, and which is fine, but then it's like it's not like he's a free agent next year. Like, you're going to have to face him again and again, like twice a year until it's over. But yeah, I think the two best moves was the Roquan Smith move and the TJ Hawkinson move. I mean, just being able to add Hawkinson to a red hot Vikings team is just nutty.
Yeah. I mean, they'll still have to get past the Eagles, but they kind of have a lot of under the radar guys who are really good at their positions.
Yeah.
everything from Danielle,
And then they have
Danielle
like
Hunter
a couple
to,
stars.
I mean, to Hunter Smith in the back end,
Right.
and
It's
I
like,
mean,
right.
a lot, Kendricks is still there, right, and
Mhm.
a bunch of guys. I mean, who just play their positions, like they just play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And on offense, they seem to have a good offensive line. You have Delvin Cook there.
I'm glad it's finally clicking for the Vikings because it's.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, it was Mike Zimmer was the problem.
Clearly.
Like,
clearly. Some of the players started calling him Grumpy as soon as he left. They just called him Grumpy, like not like Grumpy Mike or that kind of thing. Like as soon as he was out the door, they were like, Grumpy's gone.
He seems grumpy. I mean,
he does seem grumpy.
He just seems like he's just like one of those old school coaches.
Yeah.
My way or the highway.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Well. What else you got?
Jets preview.
Sure.
Zach Wilson.
Are we nervous at all?
Well, with Breece Hall out, I'm not afraid of Michael Carter.
I have a feeling that this is like going to be one of those games where it's like we both have like 4 turnovers or something stupid. It's like, but it's not going to be like because Josh threw, like maybe like Josh is going to throw like 1 interception, but it's like, it's going to be because like a fumble happened stupidly or like they fumbled on the kickoff or something. Like I have a feeling this might just be like
Nyheim Hines will not make himself
score.
Endeared to Buffalo fans if he fumbles on a kickoff.
That's very true.
So
but I just have a feeling this might just be like a dumb game in terms of like what happens.
Here's what I think, right?
But I still think they're gonna win.
I think they're gonna blow the doors off of them, to be honest. They have a very good defense.
Yeah.
The Jets have proven to have a very good defense. Salah is a good defensive coach.
Yeah.
It comes back to quarterback and running back for me.
I mean, if Zach Wilson is going to do what he did last week and he's like, well, I got bored of throwing it away. And, that's what was getting us the wins. But he's like, it gets bored throwing it to the sideline. So I was trying to force passes. And it's like, well, then that's why you have 3 interceptions. Like,
right.
Right. So, I mean, if we get that Zach Wilson, I mean, it seems like when you get Wilson frustrated, that's the time when he starts to make dumb mistakes. So, and this defense does a very good job at getting teams frustrated and getting players frustrated and getting in their heads and being and by playing so well,
Yes. A lot of good rookies.
Yeah.
Right. But Hall out. None of their other running backs scare me.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers rolled up 200 yards against them, but again,
it wasn't like meaningful.
Yeah, but it was Jones and Dillon.
Yeah,
this is Carter. Yeah. I mean,
well, that's that. Yeah, that's the other point. I mean, obviously, they don't have an Aaron Jones,
right?
So they're not going to get the yards. But I also felt like every single time they ran the ball, like it wasn't really. It never turned into anything meaningful. I mean, obviously it didn't because they lost. But
right,
that's the other thing is this defense is just bend don't break to the extreme.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's why we never felt like they were out of it.
Yeah.
Or like they were not.
They were going to like lose or the Green Bay was going to come back or something. Yeah, never felt that nervousness.
It didn't feel that way. Yeah. Like even when like I started getting nervous at first when I saw Poyer grab his arm. And then I was like, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was almost like sit him. And I almost feel that way against the Jets.
I have a feeling they could get away with it now that they have Marlowe.
Yeah.
If they feel comfortable enough to be able to say, Marlowe right away can just step right in. He might sit.
Yeah.
That would be fine to me. I mean, I still think they're gonna win. I mean, I think it just might be stupid because again, we've talked about the Bills having this tendency to playing down to their competition.
I think they used to be the Bills. That's how it used to be.
It's just they just sometimes they just make dumb mistakes, and that just might, I have a feeling that just might rear their head again. I mean, this Jets defense is pretty good. They thrive off turnovers, so that's the thing.
How many yards did Josh have last week? Like 200.
Yeah.
I think he wants to rev up the engine again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he had 200, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks, 216.
Yeah. So I mean, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to be close. I'm just saying we just might be like, what? Why? Like, it might be one of those games where we're like, they're up by like 3 scores, but like Josh is like throwing an intercept, like a dumb interception, or something like that.
I feel like that was just the game we just watched, though. You know what I mean? And
yes and no.
So from that standpoint, like I'm not
worried.
If they do it again, that's something to start being concerned about.
Yeah.
If they do that against the Jets, then you're starting to see a trend that I do not want to see.
I mean, I'm expecting like a lot, like just pure domination. Like I'm not expecting it to be close. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we got more than 40 and they were held under 20. Like, like it wouldn't,
or less.
Yeah,
I don't know how they score. That's it. The only way that I can see them score is through returns.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think,
or a pick six or something like that.
I don't think,
but I can't picture this offense scoring against this defense.
Yeah, I mean, their line is okay, but hasn't looked that well. I mean, if Josh is able to just move up and down the field with them, I mean, they have no chance.
Right.
I mean, their only chance is to just create chaos and create those turnovers and turn this into one of those stupid games where you hope to God you get some bounce that goes your way, and it's like one of those type of games. That's really the only way I see the Jets winning. Is like
if they treat this as their Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but I mean, I'm expecting Josh. I mean, Josh also plays well against the Jets. He likes to blow the doors off of them. He likes to show them that they shouldn't be called the New York Jets. And that there's only one football team in New York State. So.
That's true. Go to 26 Shirts and buy that shirt. We are not sponsored by them, but I love 26 Shirts. This is one. It's third down. I'm pretty much wearing a 26 shirt in every episode. We have done 74 episodes now as game day.
Wow.
Yeah.
75th one next week.
Next week. Yeah, we should celebrate.
I feel like we should wait till 100.
100?
Yeah.
We can celebrate any
sure. We can celebrate at 82.
It's 77, like maybe we should just celebrate every week. I don't know.
Right. We did a new episode. We made it.
We were gonna talk
Sabres update. 1-0 Pittsburgh.
They're gonna lose tonight. Right? It's Pittsburgh.
Well, Pittsburgh was up like 5-2, I think, on Boston last night and ended up losing in overtime.
Boston.
I know, but still.
Boston and the Sabres are on different levels, I think. The Sabres are really good. Oh, well, I don't want to say
I think it'll
really
be close.
Good. Sabres are really fun.
I mean, the over under was 6.5, so I have a feeling the over will hit on that.
Well, it makes sense when they score 8 the game before.
Right.
So the 8-3 game was fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Everybody scored.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, Tage Thompson with the hat trick had 6 points.
Right.
Has been going insane in the past 2 games. Has like a half an hour of ice time, like 30 something shots, and like 24 of them.
I think he's leading the league in shots.
And yeah, I mean, he looks. Took him a minute. It took him a few games.
Yeah,
it took him a few games to like.
I mean, he had that nice toe drag early in the season where
I don't know.
He just did that thing.
I don't know. They were talking. I don't remember when it was, but they were talking to Dallin, and he was kind of like, he was saying to like Tage, he was like, what's going on? Like, what? Why are you like?
Yeah.
Come on.
In your head.
He's like, what are you doing? Let's
Yeah.
go score. And then he like the next game, like Tage finally scored and then has had this explosion. But he looks worth every penny of that contract extension.
So far, yeah.
I mean, I think this team. I don't know. I think we can. I know it's early. I know it's
early.
very, 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 very early.
This
in
is
an
game 10
game
though.
Season, but
12.5% through the season.
I know I said last week that the stats were kind of looking like, this might not hold up and that kind of thing. But like now that there's more of a base, it's holding up.
It is.
They're very consistent with the way they play. They're very consistent. Yep. They've gotten very consistent goalie play, and it's been 10 times more consistent than last year, where it is this consistency of at bare minimum, it's only 2 goals. And that's kind of the way the stats have been. And it's like, it's not 2 goals one night and then 5 the next. It's like 2 goals. That's it every single game. And
that they're giving up, you mean?
And it's been that way for both Anderson and Comrie.
Excuse me.
And then, but the thing about it is the goalies have also been playing well enough to cover the blemishes with the defense right now. While like Samuelson's hurt and what's his face?
Well, how bad are the blemishes? I mean, Jokiharju being out hasn't killed them.
No.
Samuelson being out, which we were so afraid of, hasn't killed them.
Yeah. No.
I mean, they scored 8 points.
Well, yeah, and because the biggest part of it though
has been great.
The biggest part of it though was when they were having these streaks last year and 2 years ago was even though they were scoring goals, they weren't getting pucks on the net.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they're getting pucks on the net at an insane rate.
5-on-5.
On 5-on-5 rate. So
right.
that's the main part where it's like they're not just scoring and then the other team's dominating them for the rest of the game, and then it's like one lucky chance goes the Sabres' way and they score. Right. It's like, no, the Sabres are dominating teams in the offensive zone. The Sabres are generating offense. They're getting pucks to the net. They're doing the things that good NHL teams that make the playoffs do. And I'll end my point by saying, I know it's 10 games into the season, but this consistency that we're seeing should, in my eyes, make them a dark horse to make the playoffs. Because
definitely, I mean, a dark horse still, yes.
Toronto's struggling. Tampa Bay is kind of struggling.
Detroit's struggling.
Detroit's struggling. Florida is
Florida.
Right, being Florida, but Boston's also struggling. There's a chance. There is a chance here.
What's his face just went down? Bergeron.
Right. There's a chance here that if Toronto can't get it together and
that they blow it up.
Well, no, I'm saying that the Sabres are able to sneak in.
Okay.
And will be able to sneak in and beat out one of those 4 top teams because really out of those teams, the only one that looks the best is Florida.
Tampa's not in our division.
Tampa is, but Tampa's struggling
for now.
Right, and I'm saying this as based off 10 games into the season.
Yeah.
So, and I'm putting that caveat on it. But as right now, there's the Sabres have, as it stands right now, according to Puckopedia or something, the site that does the hockey percentages. The Bills have a 31.1% chance to make the Super Bowl, and the Sabres have a 29.3% chance to make the playoffs. So I think there's a
sports time in Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the Sabres are able to consistently play this way and are not able to let injuries get to them and that kind of thing, which is again what you just pointed to with the defense, where yes, these losing Samuelson, losing Jokiharju isn't the best, but Pilot and Fitzgerald have played very well subbing in for them.
And Bryson has stepped into a top 4 role. Pretty easily. I mean, the one who hasn't looked great is Power, and he's 19.
Right.
So it's okay. He gets covered up. He gets covered up by Dahlin.
Yeah.
And
he's always gonna.
Right.
That's just going to be the way it goes.
I mean, and Darlene is the second highest scoring defenseman in the league.
Right.
Right.
I mean, Darlene's just Darlene.
Darlene's Darlene. Yeah. I mean, and we're going to see that. We're going to see that. I don't see him trending downwards. He's on an 80 point.
He's going to win a Norris. I mean, it doesn't matter.
He's on an 80 point, unless McCarr or Quinn Hughes or somebody really picks it up. But
I mean, if he scores 80 points, there's no shot. That's
Carlson is I think leading right now.
Yeah. Carlson is also playing out of his mind. But I mean, I think it's them two, right? I mean, if you were to end the season and do the awards right now, it's good.
They would give it to Don. They would probably give it to Carlson because they would old.
Well, maybe. I was gonna say they'd give it to Darling because he broke the goal streak.
Sabres are actually second in their division.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're holding, they're maintaining. They're right now
and
they're maintaining.
They're one game behind, like one game played behind everyone else.
Yeah.
And they're points wise, the Bruins have 18 and have won 6 in a row.
Yeah.
But like I said, Bergeron just went down, which could be big. I haven't heard.
So I was getting Boston and Florida confused, but Boston, yeah, right. So Boston's the team that's running away with it right now, but Tampa's struggling, Florida's struggling, and you don't even see Toronto on there. Toronto's second last. They're barely in front of the Senators. They've lost 4 in a row. They can't get it together because they need to fire Keefe, but they don't want to for some reason.
I mean, but here's the difference. The Sabres have 12 points, and the Maple Leafs are in 7th with 10 points.
Right, and that's going to be the thing in the division, but I'm saying that the way it looks right now, and yes, again, we're 10 games in, but the way it looks right now is if the Sabres are able to consistently play this way, they'll be able to win games, and they'll be able to win the important games that they'll need to do to stay in this playoff race. Yes, it's going to come down to very, very – it's going to be tight until, like, all the Boston guys retire, all the Tampa guys retire, and then it'll come down to, like, you know, Montreal, Toronto, us, and Florida. Mm-hmm. And then it'll be Florida will be probably the next team.
The Senators. I mean,
if Toronto, though, isn't able to, they might blow it up. They might just trade away Marner. They might get rid of Nylander, you know, try to rebuild around Matthews. You don't know what they're going to do. I mean, yeah, they're 10 points, but they've also lost their last 4. And Keefe tried to, and then did you hear what happened with Marner? They held him back a shift. He left the bench because he was mad that he didn't go out there for his shift, came back, and Keefe put him out there right away. Right away.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, immediately.
Granato would just, like, be like, you're done for the game.
Yeah. Granato would be like, don't come back.
Right.
Because
no matter who you are.
Yeah, that would mess up. But yeah, Marner came back, and I think it was for the first shift, and he came back for the start of overtime. So he missed the rest of the third period. And I'm pretty sure it was at least like 6 minutes left. And came back for the start of overtime, and he put him out there for the first shift of overtime. And they lost.
So the Sabres are a plus 12 in goals,
which is
versus goals against,
which is also an improvement from last year.
Right.
They're scoring.
They have the second most points in the Eastern Conference. I mean, second most goals in the Eastern Conference. It's great. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to watch. And if you can watch out there, it's worth trying to grab a game every once in a while. Do you have more?
No. No, I mean, I was just going to say, like, you know, it might seem like, you know, the numbers are high, but I think it's just because of how bad the Sabres have been. I mean, these are the numbers that playoff teams put up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I think the rest of the year will be fun if they're able to really do this. And it seems like they should be able to.
They have the lowest goals against in their division.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to see. It's nice to see. It's nice to see them play well.
For the first 20 games.
Yeah.
You know,
but I don't see
and
that
then
happening.
They fall off.
I don't even see that happening. I mean, these guys from the beginning of the season, all we've been hearing from this team is that, you know, everybody
is on the same page.
Well, not even just that. That they're like, everybody thinks we're gonna be bad, and we don't think we're gonna be.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a everybody watch out kind of thing, but it was kind of like a, we're coming.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not this year, but we're gonna be better than you think we are.
Yep.
And they are. I mean, we didn't. I wouldn't have expected second in the division 10 games in.
Right.
Maybe 5 because it's 5, but 10 games. I would have been happy if they were looked just a little bit better than last year, but they look leaps and bounds better than last year. Like, they took that second half that they had where they exploded and just expanded on it. And the fact that this entire team has bought in and like believe in Granado and believe in the system, and I think Oposo being captain is the perfect choice for this very young team because they all love him and think like he's a dad. Like, he's a dad to every single one of them.
And think about the change that Granado made by putting Oposo from the fourth line onto the first line when the first line wasn't buzzing.
Yeah.
Right. And then Tage goes out and gets 6 points. Right. And Skinner gets his goal to hit 300.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff. And we get to hear Whitney Houston and, all of that kind of stuff. So there are 4 teams for sale in Major League Sports.
Okay.
Can you name them?
The Commanders.
One in each sport. How about that? That's my
clue. Of the 4 major sports?
Yeah.
Are the Athletics?
No.
Who in baseball is up for sale?
We'll swing back to that one.
Yeah, well, whatever. Senators, Commanders, and I don't know the other 2. I don't know basketball.
Suns.
Oh, that's right, the Suns, and I don't know baseball. I don't know.
The Angels.
Oh, okay. Why are the Angels?
The guy doesn't want to own them anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
out of those 4, which one would I like to own the most? Is that your next question?
Wouldn't it be the Commanders?
Okay, sure. In terms of money, yes, obviously, because out of those 4, that's going to make me the most money.
I'm not even talking about that, but
I think I would want to own the Suns. Out of those 4, young up and coming team.
Have you been playing 2K a lot?
No. I think but I do think out of that group, the Suns are the most lucrative. Maybe the Senators next. But,
well, I mean, the Commanders,
that's also because it's an NHL. Well, I'm saying if you're taking money and like that out of it, and you're just thinking,
well, then the Commanders are last.
Who would be fun to own?
But I think the Commanders would be fun to own, just in the fact that you would be responsible for turning around a culture.
That's true.
And if you could do that,
because you could fire everybody,
right?
Well, you're gonna fire everybody,
most people. And if you could do that, right?
That's true.
That would be so fun. Like,
you
to
would
me,
go down in Washington Commanders history.
Exactly. You break all the Commanders records.
The greatest owners in Commanders history.
Would you rename the team?
No. Because that was fan picked.
Was it?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
I think. I thought it was.
It's okay. But the Angels have been talking about trading Trout. They only signed Ohtani to a 1-year deal.
I think Trout deserves to be traded.
I agree.
He deserves a ring, man.
He deserves to be on a team that's going to make a run.
Actually, the Commanders wasn't fan picked. I think the name was supposed to be fan selected or something, or they did a contest, and then Snyder was like, "Nah,
people pick the Hogs, right?"
But that's fine.
I don't know.
I mean, as long as it's not something stupid that gets picked.
I think I would go.
Or why don't you come up with like a list of like 10 names and be like pick from them?
Yeah.
And then be like, if you don't like any of the 10, then
we're gonna be Washington football team again.
No, then be like then we'll do an other, and you can put your suggestion and we'll look at the suggestions. And then you have an intern that's severely underpaid or not
Josh
paid
Allen's.
at all. Go through all of the requests and pick out the best one. And you have the intern above him who's severely underpaid. Look it over, and then you pick the name. But
Grandma wants us to own the Commanders.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So maybe we could do it together.
Right.
We'll just pool our money.
Yeah. We'll just come up with an easy billion. No questions asked. Right.
Be more than that, I bet.
A couple billion. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 or 4. Yeah. I mean, the Bills are worth 3.
Well, the thing that everybody's saying,
Commanders have to be worth like 5.5.
In his statement, Snyder said that they're exploring possibilities of selling the team. And the thing that everybody's saying is, one, this gives him the ability to say, I'm not selling the team, but also every single time he's tried to put his foot down and said, I'm not doing anything like a child, he has recanted and has done the right thing and the exact opposite of what he said he was going to do. Mm-hmm. So I do think that the Commanders are going to end up being sold, but I am not sure if he is going to give up his majority share. That's the next issue. But if this investigation from the feds is like a really legit thing, then he might have to, and that might be the reason why he's selling the team.
Then we would only have to pool our money for 51%.
Right. Yes. 51% of $5 billion. Right. Oh boy.
Right. So we'd be in much better shape. Much better shape. Let's go back to the Bills. So they lost Isaiah Hodgins, wide receiver, to the Giants. How are you feeling about that?
Thank God we don't have to hear about Isaiah Hodgins anymore.
All right.
That's the way I feel.
That's an interesting take.
I mean, we know what he can do.
Which isn't much.
These kind of wide receivers are a dime a dozen. It's not that big of a loss. Now we don't have to hear people in.
I would much rather see Jay Kumaro on the field than Isaiah Hodgins.
I agree. Also, Kumaro is better on special teams anyway. So,
well, we learned in the preseason Hodgins is not a special teams player.
Yes.
So
I mean, this is a loss, but it's not that big of a loss. Well, you would have liked it if you made it, but it's fine.
So Grandma says news is that Snyder may be looking for a minority owner. So I don't know if that means an owner of color or an owner of.
He's looking for a minority stake owner. And that's what everybody is saying, is that that's what he's looking for. But also everybody at the same time is saying every single time he's been like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Like,
it's time for him to go.
Yeah.
That's
when you have Jim Irsay of all people criticizing you and coming out,
I don't think Jim Irsay's as bad as people don't give him credit for.
Well, do you remember though?
I do, but that was a while ago now.
Yeah.
And Dan Snyder is hot, fresh. He's the
but I also don't think that. I mean, sure, as far as we know, Irsay has changed and whatever, and we should give everybody that second chance. But at the same time, I mean, I think when you're getting Jim Irsay also, I don't know.
He did the difference between Irsay and Snyder. Irsay made personal mistakes.
That's true.
Snyder's mistakes actually put a black eye on the NFL.
They're illegal.
Right.
Like obviously what Irsay did is illegal as well, but he's gonna get he got a court and fines and that kind of stuff.
Right.
What Snyder's gonna do is get arrested here.
Right.
He's gonna go to jail for a long time.
Which the NFL will not like.
But
yeah.
I
mean the NFL is gonna be shoot.
I mean if this this investigation for the financial impropriety with the feds is true, then I mean he might just have to get rid of the team, period, and not like have any contact, not have anything. But it'll be interesting to watch what happens there. I think he should just just be done. Like stop being a dick, honestly. Because you are. That's what he's doing. Like
He is.
He's doing this out of spite.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants him gone and he knows it. But he has Jerry Jones in his ear telling him, "Oh, you can fight it. You can fight it." And it's like, no, you can't. You can't fight sexual harassment in the workplace. You can't fight making a toxic work environment. You can't fight going out of your way to hire private investigators and lawyers to look into other owners, your colleagues, to get dirt on them so they wouldn't say anything about what was going on in your organization. Like, no, you don't fight those allegations. You take those allegations like a man and you shut up and you go away. That's the way things work now. Like, you don't get second chances with this stuff. That's
especially not in the NFL.
Especially just period. In life, like, no, when this type of stuff,
maybe he should quiet quit.
Well, he kind of is. He's letting the NFL know
he should just go take a nap.
He's letting the NFL know that he's looking for another partner. So he's looking for somebody else to split the workload with him. So he kind of is quiet quitting.
Well, quiet. Yeah, a little bit maybe.
He's saying, that's not in my job description.
Not my job description.
It doesn't say handle federal investigation. I'm gonna let the other person handle that, the other owner.
Yeah. So what do you think about Steve Nash getting fired by the Nets?
I think good, cool experiment. You tried.
3 years he was with them.
Yeah, and you made the playoffs and never won a ring with the players that you had.
It feels really weird. It feels like he wasn't with them that long.
Yeah,
and
it does. But I mean, it
was time, right?
Yeah, I also think that just the Nets are just. I mean, with the Kyrie stuff too, like it's just good on Steve. I think that might have also probably played a little bit into it, but I mean, good on Steve Nash to just get out of there. Like just, but I mean, also, yeah, you tried your experiment. I mean, you didn't really go anywhere. I mean, I feel like. He's not Steve Kerr, and I think that's what they wanted. And he's not. He's not Steve Kerr. He got carried by those guys.
Except Kerr's an offensive guy, right?
Yeah, but Kerr is also a good coach. Right. But Kerr's also a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Steve Nash is. I think Steve Nash really got carried by these guys. And I think every single time you noticed when Steve Nash wasn't a good coach was in the playoffs.
Right.
They would lose 4-0.
Yeah.
Because he would get out-coached by the other team that's in the freaking playoffs because it's the playoffs and that's just the way it goes. That's fair. I mean, that's what happened against the Celtics.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they just
speaking of the Celtics, the finalist for that job, Ime Udoka.
They're saying it's gonna go to Udoka
and Quinn Snyder.
Yeah, which makes then the Celtics were like, okay, yeah, that's fine. You want to go? That's fine.
Yeah, they have told any team that even if they want to take him as an assistant, they'll let him go.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, it was, just not good.
Yeah,
not good.
Not good. But, and it would be good for the organization for him to just, I think, because the organization can't disappear. How are you feeling about Bryce Harper's amazing postseason?
Good for him. He deserves it, and he deserves the ring. Even if it's going to bring an economic collapse of the U.S. economy.
Is he what's causing inflation?
No, every single time the Phillies have won the World Series, there was a recession. In 1929, they won the World Series, and
was that the Phillies or the A's?
But it was still Philadelphia.
Okay,
they were still Philadelphia, and they won the World Series, and then. The Great Depression happened in 2008. They won the World Series, and then the housing bubble burst, and then there was another one in the 70s, I think, too, where it was the the gas. I think they won the World Series around then.
And then they got gas.
No, the gas crisis.
Yeah.
In the
yeah,
70s. I think they won the World Series around then, and then the
I'm
gas
kidding.
crisis happened. So it's like every single time they won the World Series, like we've had some sort of recession or something.
Yeah.
But whatever.
But we're going into a recession anyway.
We are in a recession.
All right.
We are in a recession.
All right.
We are in a recession. That bugs me. Because all signs point to the recession, but they just are like, whatever.
They're not going to say it
Of
until
course they're not gonna say it.
after
Right. Until they're
next
like,
week.
oh, the Dow lost 1,000 points. Guess we're in a recession. Sorry.
No, they're just going to wait until after. You can't say that stuff until after the vote. I mean, Biden has come out.
Rate heights, so.
Biden has come out and been Dark Brandon again a couple times, like in the last week and that kind of thing.
But anyway.
Yep.
Okay.
What else was on my list?
I don't know. What else was on your list? I don't have anything. So
do you have my list?
I don't. You never said what? How am I supposed to have what? How am I supposed to have it?
I don't know. I put it in the description. I just thought you cared.
In what
The Shining. Josh gave it an A.
Yeah.
So, for those who don't know, Kyle Brandt, who is on Good Morning Football and one of the biggest Bills fans, and probably the biggest Josh Allen fan of known people.
Yeah.
Probably. He has Josh Allen on his show once a week.
Basement podcast.
The Basement podcast. Yes. And they have a movie.
Right, they make
marathon.
Josh, right, they make Josh watch a movie and then they have him review it.
Right, and on the show. Voters, fans get to vote on what movie it is. They give fans like a
except this week because McDermott recommended The Shining.
Oh, did he?
This was a Coach McDermott.
So that's why you gave it an A.
Well, no, I mean,
I'm kidding.
I think The Shining is a very, very good movie.
So. It is. So Josh gave it an A.
Mm-hmm.
He said he really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
What would you give it?
I would give it an A too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also a good movie, but I mean, all the stuff obviously that Kubrick did in that movie that like was never done before, and then provided to the film world. I mean, you just can't.
Kubrick is
Kubrick, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, I like that movie. I think it's a really good movie, and I would give it an A too. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a solid film.
I give it a B+. There's a couple points where Jack Nicholson overacts, you know, and Shelley Duvall extremely overacts. Did you see that Shelley Duvall?
She's coming
she's
back.
Making her first movie in 20 years.
Yeah. Good for her. And it's in like a horror mystery
genre,
like something too. So
yeah. Do you want to talk about the new stadium or save that for CJ?
Yeah, we'll save that for CJ.
Okay. Michigan State or don't care?
Feel like that.
Okay. I put Michigan Stant. That's like Tony Stank. We previewed the Jets, Commanders for sale, Bryce Harper, and more. Like socks. Buy Dawson Knox socks.
Yeah. Well, how about we end it with that?
They're for charity. They're socks for Knox or Knox
for socks.
Knox for socks. You can find them. Google it. Knox for socks or socks for Knox. One of the two.
Just look out Dawson Knox socks.
Yeah. And buy it. You know, Dawson Knox is one of our guys.
Right.
You know, he
Fort
goes
Knox.
by Fluffy. Within the team room, locker room, he's had a tough season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hasn't been able to concentrate much with his brother passing away before the season started. There's a little fly.
Okay. But
And
go buy the socks. You got anything else for us? Or was that everything?
I want you to talk about Takeoff.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't do the RIP. I mean, I can do RIP Takeoff, but
yeah, RIP Takeoff.
So Migos
rapper, yeah. Sad.
I mean, Migos was a band, right?
Rap group,
a rap group like Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it had a bunch.
Yeah,
of
I mean
people.
the Migos. Okay, the Migos came out with like the song. They were pretty. I can't think of their songs right now, and I listened to them. But yeah, I mean they split for a time because actually Takeoff. It's Quavo, Takeoff,
Offset,
and an Offset. And it's right now though the Migos group is just Takeoff and Offset because Takeoff and Quavo had a falling out over some stuff, and then it just kind of was like, it's best he does go solo, like he wanted just to go solo, and then but like Takeoff and Offset just released like a music video like the day before his life was taken yesterday. Yeah, well, we learned about it yesterday. It happened like it was at a private party at a bowling alley, in
Houston
in the morning on what's today? On Tuesday.
Yeah.
At night. So, but yeah, apparently a dice game just got out of hand. Offset was apparently losing money and was getting frustrated. It's like things just started getting tense. He started, I guess, popping off at the mouth about like stuff, and the other people that they were playing against didn't like it, and then the security guards tried to step in, and then they just like started shooting like randomly to try to calm the situation down, and apparently first bullet shot hit Takeoff, and that was it. And then but the worst part about it is like
in the video, friendly fire.
Well, not even that, but like in the video, you can see it happen, because Team Z gets everything, and then
right.
But like you can also at like one point you see Takeoff on the ground, and there was like a lady who like rushed over and was like, "Oh, I'm a nurse, I can help," and they're trying to help him, and then you can hear like Quavo on the phone, and he's like, or Offset on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, what do I do?" He's like, "What do I tell her to do?" He's like,
right.
Tell me what to do, and he says it like 6 times to the dispatch person. It's just sad. Just sad.
It is sad. He was 28.
And happened in Houston, happened in Texas. So gun laws.
Woo-hoo. Gun laws. We'll have a big conversation on gun laws in the off season. Whenever the off season is exactly. But
just sad.
It is sad because he was very talented. I mean, all Migos was a very talented group.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like they did like solid. I mean, they had like
no, they had a bunch of hits, right?
Yeah, they did. I just can't think of it. I mean, they had the Gucci. They had Gucci, but yeah, let's stir fry. I mean, nobody's gonna know, but like Bad and Bougie, that was the song I was thinking of, and like Stir Fry, Motorsport. Yeah, I mean, they had like solid bangers.
Yeah. So, Taken Too Soon. Rough. Texas.
Yeah, fuck Texas, but whatever.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Takeoff.
Rest in peace, Takeoff.
Should be better gun laws. Shouldn't be as many guns.
Many guns.
We made it to the end.
Rest in peace, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah. Great balls of fire.
Great balls of fire. Yeah, controversial man. We can leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Somebody else died. I don't remember who.
But that's okay because we made it to the end.
And if you made it to the end,
we appreciate you for watching. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Interact with us at Twitter at GameDay716.
If you're watching this and you're not watching it on YouTube, we are begging you to
And
go
subscribe.
to YouTube and just press the subscribe button.
Please.
Even if you never plan to watch us ever again.
Yeah.
Just subscribe.
Just subscribe.
That's all we want.
Just subscribe.
We just need more subscribers.
That would be nice.
I don't care if you like get some friends to do it.
Yeah.
You know, just people you know, people you don't know even. You know,
Yeah.
just get subscribers.
People on the street, you know,
just walk around.
Whatever. Who cares?
We just need walk around.
Yeah.
With your phone open to our YouTube page.
Just hand people your phone and just say, go to this page.
Right.
Just trust these people.
You can have the page open. And just
have them sign in on your phone.
Have them sign in on your phone and just say, you can trust me.
Or have them tell you that they can trust you.
Right. Right.
Or that you can trust them.
Right.
With
and
your
then
phone.
And then tell them that to unlock it, you need their social security number.
Right.
And father's middle name. I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway.
So if you
subscribe.
Made it to the end.
Yeah, you made it to the end, subscribe. As always, we appreciate you for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. See you next time.
Stay sunny, Buffalo.